Hola! Saturday night, it's Dave. How the hell are y'all? This is the first night, and I can't even tell you that I'm by myself. No wife, no daughter. Um, our son's at college. It's nice. My wife and daughter are at an ALS event. My wife has something in the ALS family, although it's not as bad as a lot of those other people are. Anywho, she does really well, and it doesn't seem to be the life-ending event that ALS is. But anyhow, I'm enjoying some time alone, and went to figure out what the hell should I have for dinner. I went to Jewel Food Stores in Grays Lake, Illinois, and I love catfish, and I make a really good blackened catfish, and it was great, freaking great. And I had no plans on buying any tequila, booze, beer, whatever. And I'm looking at this, because that's me, a clearance section, and oh my God, I find this tequila that I've been really wanting to try because of a bunch of reasons. It is called El Bandido Yankee Blanco. Now, the only reason I even know about it is we have a local liquor store chain in Illinois called Binny's. And one of the guys that does commercials for it is the great Chelios, one of the greatest hockey players, and he played into his late 40s. The guy is unbelievable. We just retired his number. And I was wondering, he always says, yeah, my favorite. And then I found out that he has something to do with the company, whether he owns it, started it, whatever it is. But it's supposed to be really good tequila. It is no additive tequila. Gets decent reviews on Tequila Matchmaker. So, again, I wasn't planning on buying anything, and just because it was there, I've seen it at Binny's. It's $40. Well, there's no way. I'm just didn't feel like spending $40 on tequila. I've already got enough newer stuff. So I was like, whatever. And then there's a little, if you can see it, sticker on here that says, oh my God, 50% off. Well, they're getting rid of it, I guess, at Jewel. So they're trying to, get rid of them, and they're giving 50% off. So I'm like, oh, okay. Do I get the Blanco or the Reposado? And I looked it up. The Blanco actually gets better reviews on on Matchmaker, Illinois Matchmaker. I'm thinking of wrestling. Tequila Matchmaker gets an 84, which is, that's a good, solid number. So, of course, it's Tequiliana Weber, made in Jalisco, stone brick ovens, roller mill, deep well water, stainless steel tanks, 100% agave, fermentation without fibers, closed fermentation, 2 times distilled, they all seem to be. Stainless, distilled stainless and copper hybrid, 40% alcohol, as most of the regular ones are, aeration, no additives. Now, look at the profile, and the numbers are really low. The biggest one is agave. That usually is cooked agave, citrus, wet earth, and then this is aromas detected, and then the flavors, agave, some mint, black pepper, but they're really low numbers, so it doesn't sound like it's a really powerful, strong thing, but I got it for $19. I couldn't pass it up, $19, and, Cheli is one of my favorite hockey players ever. I hated him when he was on Montreal, and I hated him when we let him go to Detroit. We seem to let all our greats go to Detroit, right, Patrick Kane? Really a bummer. One of the problems that I did have opening the bottle was, as I was trying to pull the cork out, what am I supposed to do? So I had to break out my wine bottle opener, and I'll have to, push this on slightly. Ridiculous, but it's kind of a cool bottle. I like the colors. There's the back. Obviously, it's a Blanco, 100% agave. The usual stuff. It's let's see, it's NAM 1107. got a nice sweet smell. So, here we go. Let's pour some in. Say when. So, obviously it's clear because it is a Blanco. And yeah, there's nothing really going on hockey-wise or anything. There might be a late game going on. I'm not watching. Watched a lot of hockey tonight, though. I watched the Islanders-Rangers game. Was a great game, and what really bugged me about that game is Panarin scored the game-tying goal and one of the goals in the shootout, and there's no way he should have been traded from the Blackhawks. I remember watching, when I heard that we signed him, watching the film of him and being excited about him, and then Stan Bowman, who's the worst hockey GM in the planet. If his name was Stan Jones, he'd be serving burgers at McDonald's. Instead, his name is Bowman, and Scotty Bowman's kid, and he had a lot to do with the Blackhawks, and they gave this guy a job, and he ruined this team and this franchise. And among other things, part of the Kyle Beach cover-up. Just, I'm so glad he's out of hockey. I hope he never comes back unless it's with a team I hate. And even then, he doesn't even deserve that. There we go. We spilled shit all over the place. So, I'm looking at it, and yeah, there's some tears. Pretty cool. Let's take a faraway smell. Wow, that's nice. Sweet. Got a little heat to it. Very sugary. Black peppery. Smells great. I mean, $19. You can't find any $19 bottle of tequila is usually crap. I mean, not even Cuervo goes for that kind of price. So learned. Well, I've known, but you're supposed to take a sip and then swish it around your mouth. So that's what I'm going to do here. As I spill all over the place. So it's supposed to get yourself ready for the first real taste. I can tell you there's some black pepper to this. And I like black pepper. And I like a little heat too, Some tequila people don't. Here we go. That's solid. I mean, it's really solid. I was trying to decide whether I was going to go out, because I really don't want to spend any more money on tequila. I've got enough in the house, to see if I was going to go out and get the Reposado at Jewel. It's an additional $2. And it doesn't get as good reviews, but boy, if it tastes like this, an aged version of this, it's worth it. You just can't beat the price. I found another tequila over the weekend that Benny's is getting rid of, like Esperon or something like that. It's not Espolón, but I'll be reviewing that later. And it was really good. I had it last night. It was really good. But this is solid. I mean, this is a good, solid. I'm sure it's an amazing mixer to put in margaritas and ranch water. And I made a really interesting, and I'll have to do a video on it the next time I do it. I made a Mexican mule, which is, basically lime juice. In this version, it was interesting. Lime juice, you take a couple sliced jalapenos and a couple of sliced slivers of ginger, and then you pour an ounce of lime juice in the bottom of the glass, and you squish it up with, I forget what the damn thing's called. It's called muddling. And then you put in, I put in 2 ounces. You're supposed to put 1.5 ounces of tequila, and I used Olmeca Altos Reposado, which I've been using for my mixing, and then 1/2 ounce of like an orange liqueur. I used triple sec, really good. A couple of bitters, ice, and it was solid. It was really good. A little zip to it. Enjoyed it. So, anywho, excuse me. I would imagine this is really good to mix with, and at $19, it's worth it. I don't like to use a mixer that, when I spend 35, 40, 50, whatever, that's as much as I really like to spend on a tequila. I'd like to sip it then at that point. I don't want to use it in a margarita, ranch water, whatever it is. So I use the Omega Altos, which is a decent sipper. It's an okay sipper. I'll be doing a review on that later. But the Reposado is a little. I think it's a little smoother and easier to sip than the Blanco. But I'd like to sip on these, and this is definitely Cheli, spot on, baby. Really good. We just retired his number, and I was curious. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I wonder if Montreal retired his 44, and if Detroit retired his 7, because he was a great player wherever he went. Maybe he was 24. I can't remember if he was 44 or 24 in Montreal. I'm beginning to think he was 24 in Montreal. But I'd be curious to look that up to see if they're retired. I don't know. I don't know if he played long enough. I think he played long enough. They traded one of my favorites for Cheli, Dennis Savard, for him, and I was really pissed off at the time, but ended up being a great trade because Savvy was great, but he was heading in sort of a decline, and Cheli was just beginning to become Cheli. He was a good player, but he was great with us, and it was really neat seeing his whole family and all the old Blackhawks from his era, and especially the guys from the Stanley Cups. I know Cheli didn't win the Stanley Cup with them, but seeing guys like Duncan Keith and Seabrook and those guys, and they happened to be playing Detroit that night, and Kaner was there and DeBrincat, so it was cool seeing them get to celebrating it. But Cheli, yeah, well done, baby. This is solid stuff. Very good, easy to drink. It's not as great a sipper as your Fortalezas or your G4s, but it's solid. It's good. It's not. This one's actually not overly sweet. It's smooth, a little more black peppery, but there's some sweetness to it. It's good. I definitely would suggest this to everybody. You know, $39.99 is a lot, and there's a lot of stuff out there that's better than this at $39.99. But if you can get it cheaper, absolutely worth getting. I know it's a little cheaper at Woodman's. It's good, solid tequila. Go get it. Go to Jewel. I mean, it's half price. It's $19. You can't beat that. Anyhow, this is Dave. If you like this, please subscribe. And I'm going to have another sip in front of y'all. By the way, just wanted to say my White Sox are on a 23 win pace for the season. 23 wins. I guess is the worst start they've ever had. So that's fun. And really, Jerry Reinsdorf deserves it. And nothing changes until you idiots stop going to the games. So anywho, drink tequila. Love it. Don't overdo it. Don't drive drunk. You may spill. Just remember that. This is Dave. Toodles. Have a great rest of your Saturday night. Go Bears. Super Bowl. Never. Maybe. They're on their way. Good night. Toodles.